Grimerica newsletter. Bingo, bango, social media jingle. Don't forget to rate, comment, and or subscribe to the Grimerica newsletter.
You guys are funny because you got the Trudeau guy who's, I don't know about that guy, but I love the whole conspiracy that he's like Fidel Castro's love child.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Grimerica show. We are going to be chatting with Xaviant Haze a little bit later about some bankster stuff, a lot of giant stuff, and all sorts of fun stuff. It's a great chat. Xaviant was great. You guys will enjoy that. And we're actually in the middle of our trip to Spokane, Washington for the weekend. So we've got Michael and James, friends of the show, are in the back seat. And we're heading down to a cabin to meet Jestin, Adam, and Cyrus, who I think most of you probably remember as well. So that should be a fun little trip. We're about an hour away from the border, so we're going to try and get this intro recorded so we can stash all this gear so they don't ask us a million questions. But first, as always, Graham and Dreddy Dunlop.
Hey, buddy. Graham Dreddy.
You're not driving that fast this time.
That's Graham Dreddy.
Graham Dreddy? Is that what we're going with?
Yeah.
You're not driving as fast this time. You're kind of...
Well, I got 4 people in the car.
Is that why? Are we just too heavy?
An extra 370 pounds or so.
Plus there's 100 pounds of gear in the truck.
Yeah.
Do you think it's... is it a weight thing? Do you notice it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Shouldn't that hold you down on the road more?
Yeah. If it snows, we're laughing.
Perfect. So yeah, we're just heading down to for the weekend. We got a cabin. We're going to do some podcasting probably, or do some recording. You guys probably heard the rumor that I think we've talked about it enough that we're working on another project. So we're meeting some of the guys from that. We're going to do some recording probably for that project. And probably have a good time. Graham will be our chaperone, and the rest of us will probably have a couple beers, maybe a joint or two. Who knows?
Designated driver.
Allegedly.
It
could be Graham designated driver Dunlop.
Graham Triple D Dunlop.
Triple D Dunlop.
The designated driver.
Graham Triple D.
The designated driver.
So yeah, it's a good little trip. We've got all our gear with us. It's about 100 pounds. We need a mobile setup, we've decided.
Yeah, we do.
That'll be our next.
You should show the Periscope guys the setup we got going on here with your GoPro.
Oh, it's fun.
For those of you that are missing out, I'm sure you can go back to the Twitter feed and check out the GoPro feed later.
So we got this, some mics, some toques, laptops, adapters, you name it. There's the backseat bandits, and there's Grambo. We're going to put you back on the road because it's just easier.
Hey, you better wipe your wipers there for the people watching.
Yeah, keep it nice and clean. So we are, for those of you who don't know right now, I guess, are you saving this video as well? Well, I'll be able to get it off of this. I'll be able to get the video. So I'll post this video to the YouTube channel so that you guys can check it out. But right now we're cruising through the southern interior BC. Yeah. So what's new, buddy? Obviously, you're not going to have any listener stuff for us.
Yeah, well, last time we played something, but I was connected through our sound system, right? Remember?
Yeah, last time. Yeah, we don't want to get into that now. I don't think. I don't have the jingles ready to go or anything like that.
But I've had lots of listener feedback, and but so next show we'll do all that.
Yeah,
maybe this show, this intro, we can hear more from James and Michael in the back there. If Michael's still reading his book back there.
If I had If my phone wasn't running the Periscope, actually, we'd probably be able to.
To do what?
I could at least do like a social media thing or something like that. That's okay. We'll do all that shit next week.
I could sing you the jingle.
There you go.
Reveling ground with synchronicities.
He's not going to remember any synchronicities. So yeah,
we had one today on the way up. We were talking about the secret space program, and then Major Tom came on.
Did that come on? Didn't that come on your phone though?
No, it came on the satellite radio.
Oh, did it? Yeah, that's kind of a
right when we were talking about
the secret space
humans
program
flying to different planets and stuff.
So do you think that's because there is a secret space program or because there isn't?
There is many of them. There's more than one.
There's many.
Yeah, many
Secret space programs.
Yeah.
Plural?
Programs.
Quit moving your head so much, Graham. I have the mic dialed really tight.
I would have to agree to disagree.
Well, get James to talk about it.
James is all in on the secret space program too. So is Michael. You guys are all in on the secret space program.
Michael's into some crazy stuff, man. I like it. It's just far out.
Some of that,
Really
some of that Corey Good stuff can be a bit much.
It's complex.
It is complex. So this is a good little trip. All our dongles are paying off. Check out grimerica.ca/support, guys. Honestly, without our monthly subscribers, we wouldn't be able to afford these little gadgets and gizmos that allow us to live stream a podcast whilst driving through the mountains in Canada. You couldn't do that kind of shit.
Look at the technology. Pretty soon we won't even need Graham to drive. You can just sit in the back.
Exactly. And then we'll all feel a little safer.
We had that discussion.
I still think you guys are dreaming. I think a self-driving car will not be driving itself down this road in the next 30 years.
It'll happen sooner than that.
No, maybe if it's a test prototype or something. But
trucks have already done it, so why can't
down
cars?
This road?
Roads like it?
No.
Yep.
I like
what
this.
What was the difference between the road and the truck and this road? Just because it's in the mountains?
There's not a million fucking cell towers everywhere to give enough GPS accuracy.
That doesn't have to do with GPS. It's just the sensors on the truck knowing where the edge of the road is, isn't it?
Hey, didn't some guy's Tesla just drive him underneath a transport truck while he was watching movies, trusting those cameras? No comment?
Well, that'll happen. I mean, there's a lot of human accidents as well.
So we'll just go podcasting into a tree because something glitched?
The main thing is now just drive now while you can. Enjoy driving while you can.
Yeah, I think it's farther off than that. I think there was a time a few years ago that I thought maybe my kids wouldn't end up driving, but I think they will now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe my grandkids won't drive. So yeah, check out grimerica.ca/support, sign up for a monthly, and help us keep doing fun shit like this. Spam Graham, spam your stories, synchros, all that fun stuff over to graham@grimerica.com. Sign people up for the newsletter, grimerica.ca/news, all that fun stuff. Make a donation this weekend to help out the road trip fund.
$5 donation gets you a signed, autographed, naked poster, Graham, from this weekend. I'll take some pics for you guys.
You're taking pics of Graham naked?
Well, you said he was going to be naked this weekend.
Well, I just said
that's the only reason I came.
Graham is real comfortable being naked. Like, the first time I went out of town with him, it's just like, boom, we got in the hotel room, set my stuff down, I turn around, Graham's naked.
He's like, let's party.
Pretty much.
It's not that kind of party, Graham.
No. I just felt like fair warning was in order. Look at all these deer.
Did he have camouflage underwear on like the real Grambo?
There's a lot of baby deer.
No camo. I don't like the camo. I don't like the camo, man.
You don't like what?
Camo.
Camouflage?
He's not into camo underwear or underwear
I'm not a big
all,
camo
actually.
guy either. I'm pretty into underwear, though. Underwear is pretty cool. So, what's new with you guys in the back seat?
Yeah, I'm in underwear.
You got to eat the mic, Mike.
Yeah, I'm in underwear.
You're in underwear?
Yeah, you were talking about underwear, right? I'm in underwear.
Are you in underwear and into underwear?
Yeah, I
Sweet.
guess.
James, underwear, yes or no?
I can't remember. Hang on, let me check. Hey, we got live video for this too. Yeah, I got underwear on today.
I got something to say for that. They're finally making decent men's underwear. Problem is, they're way too expensive.
You don't have to wear the ladies'
Women
ones
can go in
anymore
and get
now.
7 panties for $5 or whatever, and we have to pay one pair for $40.
Well, they
You know,
got to
but at
get us
least-
somehow
at
because we
least they're
don't buy
making
as
room
many.
for your balls now. and
You know
stuff.
why, right? Because women buy, their market is way bigger. They probably buy 500 pairs to our one. You know what I mean? So that's why ours are more expensive.
Yeah, but wouldn't you have more if you could? I mean, would you want
Why?
to worry about doing laundry?
Nah, it's just
before,
overrated.
like having enough clean ones to go?
Should do a poll.
When you do laundry, you just got to wash 500 pairs of underwear.
That's good. That's
Exactly.
batching them, you know?
I'd rather just do laundry every other day. I have 2 pairs. I only have 2 pairs.
Yeah, that's all you need. Darren,
Sometimes
2
one.
pairs underwears.
I got a day for today, pair for today, a pair for tomorrow. Then I'll rewear these ones on the way home.
Flip them inside out.
That's right. Bingo, bango.
Bingo,
So what do you guys think?
bango.
We're probably about 45 minutes from the border. It's a beautiful country.
Yeah, we just saw like 10 deer.
Yeah, I wasn't quick enough with the camera. It's just easier to keep the camera on the front than to try. Otherwise, it's just going to be a fucking jarbled mess. I think it'll be easier to watch the thing. So I don't know if anyone's even listening. If you're listening, ask a question and maybe we can answer it. Since we don't have any of our screens in front of us to give you any of the content. Is this your first time going to a legal state, James?
I've been to Washington a bunch, but not since the new law.
Not to a dispensary yet?
Yeah. Darren's, it's like going to Disneyland now.
Yeah, well, since I went the first time, this will be my 4th trip back down
In like 5 months.
in 6 months. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's we've got some people saying amazing scenery. Yes, southern BC is pretty. BC, I think, is probably like Banff and shit's probably like one of the spots in the world, right?
Yeah.
One of
For the
some of the
American.
best scenery. I think Japanese people too just love that shit.
I wonder why. They
'Cause
probably have some really nice mountains and scenery. It's
Yeah, it's just different, right? It's
know-
like, to me, Banff and this is just, you take it for granted.
I could see like somebody coming from the desert to see this would be like really amazed, but the Japanese people have like very similar landscape.
When you see mountains every day, you just kind of, I guess you lose the awe. It's looking cool. Like if we have time tomorrow, maybe we can rip out and show these guys the coulee.
The what?
Grand
No,
coulee.
no. We're not going to have time to do any road trips from
Like an hour.
from the cabin. No, but I mean, we have one day.
Yeah.
One day in the cabin.
We just spend the whole day in the cabin?
We have to go to the hydro store too.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going for a hike, but I'm not
hike?
going to go for another hour
I'm not going
drive.
for a hike.
Mike, join me on that.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to get out of the car for a few minutes since it's 8 hours each way.
You guys are going squatching? Last time me and Graham went, the first time Graham and I went down there, we didn't even get out of the car. We drove to Spokane, drove another 2 hours out to Moses Lake, drove another 2 hours north, and then drove back to Spokane another 2 hours. So I think that first day we were in the car like 17 or 18 hours. That's okay, though.
Graham, do you believe in Sasquatch?
I believe something's out there. I don't know what it is, but yeah. You can't ignore all the thousands of testimonies.
As long as you've got supplies, I don't mind the car. It's when you don't have supplies. Like the dry run kind of sucks. Speaking of which, we should stop and stash soon.
We'll talk to Jestin.
Allegedly.
He was near those footprints in the snow from a big Sasquatch. He was going to go out. He lives close to Sasquatch territory, and he's a big fan. So we'll talk to Jestin. But yeah, maybe we'll go for a hike, knock on some trees, eh, Michael?
You guys are going to go knock on trees? Bring
Yeah.
the GoPro if you do that.
Oh, yeah, you got to film yourself knocking on a tree.
No, you're not taking my GoPro to get eaten by a fucking Sasquatch.
Well, it'll be the...
I need a $500 deposit.
We'll get them to bring Graham's phone too so they can live stream
They're
it so we
friendly.
can find it.
Oh, perfect. Great idea. Yeah, okay. Yeah, help yourself, boys.
You don't have to worry about Sasquatch eating anything.
Oh, I don't think this is our first day on Periscope. We Periscoped once like 6 months ago. But yeah, we don't do it very often. 200th. Yeah, the 200th episode we Periscoped. And I mean, honestly, we've been humming and hawing about as we get more subscribers and support and things like that. I mean, one day if we have a real budget, we'd definitely look at entertaining. I mean, it'd be nice to be able to sync up video and stuff like that. It's just right now, we can't afford to hire anyone, and it's just too much work and too much gear and
Too much time.
too much time. That's the other one. We need an intern.
I'm not getting paid for this.
You're not getting paid for this. You're getting paid in hearts. People, these little hearts keep popping up on the screen. You can have those.
Oh, thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
How's it going, Michael?
Good, good.
What are you
So-
looking forward to do here this weekend?
I don't know. Just get to meet everybody.
Michael is our resident American.
Yep, from the States.
So is it? When was the last time you were home? Was when you went for the?
August.
Was that the dragonfly incident?
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to drone you again?
I sure hope so.
That would be kind of cool. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of surveillance on the cabin.
If not, they should get that going then.
This
the,
is
the
still
cabin in Idaho that we're going to.
like, yeah, there you go, Idaho. Actually, we don't even know that we'll get over the border yet. We technically haven't been over since the inauguration, but we're all pretty white.
Yeah. Oh, now Darren says he's white.
Or Indian. Indian's okay. I'm a Canadian. We're okay. No, I don't foresee any problems. We've never had a problem. Knock on wood. There's no wood in here.
There's no wood trim in this fancy car.
We need to stop and knock on a tree.
Knock on a tree. Well,
Yeah.
I think that this napkin used to be a tree. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, that napkin was a tree. So yeah,
We're entering the Idaho border for you American people. Going to see Idaho. What should we see as we drive by there? Why don't you send us a little Periscope info?
I don't know how many Idahovians are in the Periscope right now.
There's a hippie store right near the border.
Yeah, there's a hippie store, but we'll probably just hit that on the way back. The hippie store's pretty cool. I popped in there every time, so if our buddy remembers me now.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Does he listen to the show yet? He
I
seemed
never
pretty
asked
pumped
him
on
that.
it.
Yeah, he said he was going to, but I never asked him last time. There's a hotel I want to pop into in Bonner's Ferry because I left, we forgot Lisa's like $100 pillow there.
And they're still going to have it?
Well, the last time I talked to him, she was going to hang on to it. But that was quite some time ago.
What makes a pillow $100?
It's made out of bamboo.
Even still.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
Isn't bamboo like the cheapest wood to buy?
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, how do you make? You have to make it soft and shit. I don't want a hard bamboo pillow.
I don't know. Good pillows are up to $400. So you're lucky, man. It was only $100.
Word up. Have you been buying some expensive pillows lately, Michael?
Oh, our beds and pillows. Our beds are all wool. So no metal at all. You shouldn't have springs. You shouldn't sleep on springs. They're really bad for you. So get rid of your box spring. Well, your body needs the earth to rest for 8 hours a day. And so while you're sleeping, you should be getting you should only have wood and wool between you and the earth. Well, metal's there, but it's like you're sitting on an antenna, basically. And then the mattresses, the typical mattresses that everyone has, are not good for you either. They hold all sorts of mites and stuff, and wool
Bed
is the way to
bugs.
go because it's a natural antibacterial, antimicrobial. Yeah. So a wool bed is like $2,000 because it's like 7 inches packed of wool.
Is that like super hot?
Is it itchy?
No, actually, in the summertime, it's very cool. Wool is cooling as well as it is warming. I know that sounds. Yeah, bamboo is the
Bamboo
next
sheets are like
best. Yeah,
That's like
not everyone can have wool. That's
like
not sustainable
fleeces
for
are like
7
that
billion
too,
people.
right?
We could
Is it
make more
fleece?
sheep.
Yeah, yeah.
More sheep?
Just bring up the sheep population.
Can I just what if I just buy a sheep and I just save the wool?
Too bad you can't shear the sheeple.
Okay, how come sheep is plural and singular? They're not sheeps.
Well, that's like moose
They're not
or
meese.
fish.
Well, oh yeah. What about turtle?
Turtles is a plural. Turtles.
What do you call a flock of turtles? What is that? A herd?
I think it's probably
I
a
think it's
school.
A clutch.
A what? I don't know. Usually I have the internet
A
to look for
clutch.
these things. A
It's
clutch
a murder
of
of
turtles?
turtles.
It's a murder of crows. How far are we from the border, Michael?
Oh, I don't know if my map works here, but we should probably stop.
We should stop soon before the surveillance starts.
I feel like underpowered with everybody else and their big phones. I just have the little normal one.
Oh yeah, mine's normal. Just has a case.
Oh, you got a big case to make up for your small phone?
Sure. I got a big case to make up for my broken phones. Why, you guys both have Plus? Phone
Yeah, mine's
Plus?
a plus. Yeah.
That's too much for me, man. That's too much phone. It's
Well,
just
if you
too
got to
much.
carry it around everywhere you're going all the time, it is too much for sure. But if you've only got one device, no laptop, no computer, nothing else, no iPad, I think it's the way to go.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I'm basically carrying my iPad mini around.
It's hard to one hand that thing though, that big plus. You know, like
You get used to it. I played bass for a while, so I really.
I've been
stretched the
one-handing
fingers.
big shit since I was a boy. So
There you go.
You don't need more
Listen
than
to
a
this guy.
handful.
is that what she tells you? She must love you. So how far were we from the border, Michael?
I don't know, 45 minutes maybe.
Okay, not long, not soon enough to be too worried about it.
are you going to vouch for us, Michael, when we get there?
No,
We should throw Michael in the trunk.
I'm gonna ask them to tell me the backgrounds of all three of you. Actually,
Oh, you guys do that?
well, yeah, they're looking you up for everything that's there. I'll just be like, hey, so I don't really know these guys. Do you mind telling me is like axe murderer or psychopath in any of their charts?
Maybe we'll get them to check outside before we get there, just in case he's like Dexter or something.
Hey James, do you have charges?
Charges?
Yeah,
Like phone chargers?
like criminal.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay. What?
Why?
Because
What-
I
did
think
you do
that's one of the
something that
main
you wanna
things they
talk
ask you
about?
right away. They ask you right away if you have any charges.
Oh.
That's a good spot.
That was a good spot you drove past. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Duke's a hazard.
Then
So
you
what
gotta
do want me to
find
do
it.
now then?
I don't know. Look for the next like landmark. We drove past the lake.
Ugh.
You're driving. How are you not paying attention? You should notice the lake.
There was no signs for the lake.
It was a giant lake. We were beside it for 10 minutes.
I didn't see the lake either, Graham.
Yeah, but you're in the back seat. I don't expect you to be watching the road. I expect Graham to be watching the road and notice these things.
While he's podcasting.
Well, he's podcasting while he's driving. Well, he's live streaming. Is it podcasting when you're live streaming? It's like radio.
I'm a really good knee driver, though. You guys know that, right? I can drive with no hands.
There you go. Can you get sued for that, for saying that?
Sued.
Probably not. I don't know. Canada. That's illegal to drive with no hands. Should I flip the camera around and bust them?
Graham
No,
is
let's not bust
allegedly
Graham.
driving with no hands while podcasting.
Allegedly. So, are you going to pull over soon?
Yeah.
What's the new news? Anything new happen we could talk about? No?
New news? Like news in the world?
Sure.
What's happening?
I don't watch TV.
You know, I've kind of gotten tired of paying attention. You know, I think that's what they really wanted was everybody paying attention. And then the Trump thing for the last year and a half has been so outrageous. Yeah, that's a great spot.
That was a great spot.
You just point at them and keep driving. That's
Yeah.
okay, though. And
We're looking for a place to go pee right now.
Yeah.
So
real bad.
But it has to be
But
someplace
he
we
keeps
can.
pointing it out.
We have
you
to-
don't
it
need
has to be
keep talking
someplace we
about all
recognize,
that.
'cause
You
we
don't
wanna
need keep
pee.
saying all that.
We want to pee in the exact same spot on the way home.
That's right.
It's very important.
we have to be accessible by both lanes as well.
That's right. and somewhat memorable.
Drop a pin.
Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah, so the whole Trump thing for the past 2 years. Now we're just burned out on it. Like
I'm kind of there too.
I think a lot of people are.
I've
A lot of
just
people
had
are just
enough
burned
of
out
paying
on it,
attention.
which I think is part of the plan. Because if you burn out on it, then you're not going to pay attention, right? And they can get away with even more shit. But
Well, that's our job, I guess, and well, not our job, but somebody's job to keep their finger on the pulse of what these motherfuckers are up to.
yeah, we just need more of us so that the tag team of it can, be an efficient process rather than dropping the ball. So yeah,
Is there any questions on the Periscope there?
If there is, I can't see him. Why don't one of you Periscopers put up a question?
Going
Something
live
like that.
all the way to Idaho.
Well, I
There's a
think
lot
we're-
of guns in Idaho. I
We'll
heard.
probably shut down the live before quite a bit before the border.
This is not a good one.
I don't like this. I don't like the mics and everything at the border. It just seems to invite questions that I don't feel like answering.
Well, we're not gonna do this while we're going through. Be like, hey,
No.
officer, would you like to say hi to everybody? It's live.
Yeah, that would be kind of
Crossing
funny.
the border
but
live.
somehow I don't think they would take that well. Maybe. Yeah,
We'll give them that. They can stream, watch it later.
sure.
yeah.
If
So
we
there
were
you
all
go.
American, I'd
So then-
say sure.
If we were explain that.
Well, I just think I just don't like to give them any reason to say, nah, we don't feel like letting you guys in today. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to that dude. If he don't want you there, you're not getting in.
It's true.
Oh, I know.
So I don't need him thinking I'm a dork right off the bat.
Then
Yeah.
don't say anything. Just
We got
smile.
We got Graham for that.
Graham, you should put on your glasses when we cross. And get this sketchy looking Indian guy out of the front seat.
Racism.
That wasn't. I didn't mean it like that. But you are kind of sketchy looking. Whether you're whatever color you were, white, black, green, purple, still look kind of sketchy.
Beige.
You're kind of a beige color.
I'm a whitish brown.
Yeah, well tanned.
I can fit in anywhere.
Yes.
Then we'll have another 2 hours. Fuck. I'm starting to get sick of being in the car.
Okay, we're gonna stop.
All right, let's go for a pee break.
Okay, well, we might as well wrap this shit up then, eh? Thanks for tuning in, guys. Enjoy the chat with Xaviant. Maybe we'll drop some bonus eps over the weekend. We'll see what happens. But enjoy the chat with Xaviant. It was a good one. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Enjoy.
All right, with us, finally, we've got Xaviant Haze here. We tried to connect a few months ago. Well, it's a good thing we waited because he's got a couple new books out since we last tried.
Yeah, we'd rather talk about giants and banking anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's been researching ancient manuscripts and history and stuff. He's got a few books out, like The Suppressed History of American Banking and Lost History of Ancient America. There's a bunch of stuff like that, and the pyramids, and he's got the latest well, a couple of his latest ones. Ancient Giants of the Americas, Suppressed Evidence in the Hidden History of a Lost Race. And he's also got one about some current event politics, that kind of stuff. So welcome to the show, Xaviant.
Thanks for having me.
We're gonna try to stay away from the politics, so we want to talk about giants, man. We've been wanting to do.
But let me give you a backstory on that one real quick. It's just
Trump's kind of a giant.
I got offered a bunch of money to write about him. And,
Did you?
And yeah, and basically I didn't want to write the trashy, like why women hate him or whatever. So I was like, I felt the more important story was something else, and I basically the publisher didn't like that, so they didn't pay me.
No way.
So I did. Yeah, because I did it before I got the contract signed. I thought we were on the same place, and I was in the zone. I wrote it so fast. Literally, I wrote it so fast, and I kind of turned it in. They're like, that's not what we were expecting.
Yeah, but
I was like,
But all your research gives quite a bit of context to what's going on right now, right? I mean, you've been writing about,
of course, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, all this.
I'm ahead of the curve, long time. So I don't feel too bad. Money. I could have used the money, but it's not the end of the world. But it just sucks that we're in that environment right now, which is ridiculous.
So you had to go publish it on your own then?
Yeah, I just self-published it. I didn't want to bother with throwing around because I did. I just put it out, whatever ebook. Yeah, it's there.
Well, I guess we should mention the title then.
It's probably got its own own little underground following. Then it seems like those books are doing. There's those books seem to be doing well. I know Cernovich had some luck.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a market for that. And I think it's a wave. Hopefully, more people should be awake and hip to it. I would love that, But it's there for people who are like-minded. They'll come across it. And it's cheap, so it's good. Yeah.
So I'm going to just say the title there: The Donald Trump Conspiracy: How a Billionaire Businessman Challenged the New World Order. Yeah.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy. It's good. I mean, that's why I didn't feel too bad because I knew I knew what I wrote was good, and I knew I agreed with it, so it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's really, if you kind of boil it down, that's kind of what got him elected. It was that sort of outsider, him against globalism. You never hear anyone talk about any of that. And this guy, big threat to the New World Order, which is.
Well, I think that's what's good about it is because when the USA can do it, it kind of. Puts a little hair on the chest of some other people. The problem is, half the world have to do it before Canada actually gets any balls. But
yeah,
hopefully that gets something rolling.
You guys are funny because you got the Trudeau guy who's, I don't know about that guy, but I love the whole conspiracy that he's like Fidel Castro's love child.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great one. He looks like it too. So
have you seen those pictures of him beside each other?
Man, hilarious. He looks just like him.
Yeah.
He's such a douchebag.
Well, his mom was down there apparently too, so you never know.
I'm sure, he was dictator supreme. He could have had whatever he wanted. So.
That's right.
So how'd you get into, how long have you been interested in giants then? I know you have a chapter about giants in your History of American Banking that I was reading a few months back.
For quite a while, I've always been into this sort of, the ancient aliens, lost cultures, Atlantis.
Right.
But I think the giants I came across, we're all kind of familiar with especially in our childhoods, because most of us in the West are raised kind of with a Christian background. So we're kind of familiar with David and Goliath and sort of tales. So I think besides that, I was hanging out in the Theosophical Library. And I was talking to one of the old hippies there, and he was telling me about Prince Matic, pre-Columbian voyages, to the Americas, and he started mentioning about how there were red-headed giants who were cannibals. So I thought it was kind of interesting. I never really heard about pre-Columbian visitations and red-headed giants, and he suggested I go read a book called America BC by Barry Fell. Who was a Harvard linguologist and ethnologist, and very incredible. He was able to retrace the language of the Algonquin Indians back to ancient Egyptian, like same kind of words and syllabuses, and he showed how like the Phoenicians were here. He brought to light a lot of the pre-Columbian visitations. He was basically shut down, like Velikovsky was.
Yeah.
High scholars who challenged the status quo and basically had their careers destroyed. So I checked a few of those things out, and then I went to talk to the Indians there, the Puyallup in the tribe, the Puyallup tribe, because I have family that's connected with them, so we could get on the reservation and ask questions. So I kind of found out that it wasn't really a big deal, and supposedly there's even some ancient giants buried in some of the reservations, like they know, but they'll never disturb them or allow them, to be disturbed, or they don't even really talk about it. A lot of the young ones that really don't even know. You have to kind of find, those that are older and have kind of preserved that oral tradition. So upon learning that, I kind of thought, well, what if, what did Lewis and Clark see actually kind of come across on their journey west? So that, those thoughts kind of led to my first book, and I was able to write about giants and things like that. And just from there, just kind of blossomed into continuing to research and read about it. And it became actually more popular, like after I wrote about it. So that was kind of cool to see how it is now. It's with Jim Vieira's show and everything. It's a popular thing. So I think there's to be able to write about it and to put it out there and research it and to talk about something that's really cool and interesting. I mean, who the hell really talks about this? When you mention it, people are like,
"What? Yeah,
giants, what?"
Yeah, I feel like about 5 years ago, maybe even less, like 4 years ago, I just started hearing about giants, and I was still sort of new to me, and I was like, really, is there that much there? And then over the last 2 years, it's getting really popular. It seems like it's one of the up and coming kind of mysteries, that people are finding all this evidence for, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's one of the final frontiers, so to speak, of putting this piece together, this puzzle together of all these forbidden pieces, and you have the forbidden archaeology aspect of it, out of place artifacts, megalithic ruins. You have all this, and they're all little individual pieces that kind of tell this story when you put it together, which is, and it's the thing we all have to, be prepared to talk about, and you have to want. The problem is, like, society is constructed so that, you wake up, go to work, you have, like, literally you spend half your life at work, a few hours with your family, and then, kind of go to bed and repeat it up, do it over and over and over again. So there's no time to really ponder or to investigate these sort of philosophies, and because you're not going to get in the mainstream media. Yeah, I mean, we're lucky that we have ancient aliens.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you talk about all these little pieces, and the thing I find weird is that even some of these little pieces are acknowledged by the mainstream. Like, let's say the hobbits, right? Like being an actual species or whatever, or the Göbekli Tepe being like 11,000 years old or however old. There's some acceptance there, but they don't put all the pieces together. It's just kind of shoved aside. It's like they're not really debunking that, but they don't really use it in the new model of what the paradigm should be.
Right. I mean, and they put it out so it's a little bit out to let you know that there could possibly be civilizations that old, big deal, but then it's really never talked about again.
Yeah, exactly.
And then do they have the nerve to say that Göbekli Tepe is 10,000 years old or whatever, but still want to maintain that slaves built the pyramids 5,000 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, hello, come on,
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Exactly. They don't put those little pieces into the larger context.
Exactly.
They wait for people to die.
The old guard to die? I don't know. It's probably deeper than that, though. I wish it was that easy.
Well, it's there is the old guard, but I mean, the new guard is basically to meet the new boss, same as old boss, right? So it's
maybe you need the old boss to die.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. So then, where did you go after that? Sort of, because we talked about the giants getting, more and more of a popular topic. Did you start finding a whole bunch of evidence that you didn't expect to find then?
Yeah, well, I found, I read over Dewhurst's book.
Yeah.
And Vieira, humans, all this, so I kind of was up on it, but I was able to put together and find, what they might have missed, and also focus more on the first person accounts, which is the coolest part of these sort of tales.
Yeah.
And basically put it together to the point where, I was able to have the Americas covered, Canada, North America, South America, Mexico, all that. And then I have another book coming out probably maybe this fall that covers the giants in the Middle East and everything else. So I literally went down that rabbit hole and basically compiled and researched and put together everything I could. So we'll have a good, clear picture of it. And, there's also new discoveries that I'm involved in that might get some physical evidence. Because, here's the problem is we always, where's the bones, which I understand. I get it. It's cool. I feel the same way, but, there's so many accounts that you could read where they ended it by, sending the bones to the Smithsonian or the Smithsonian came and, took the bones or whatever, and they were never heard from again. So we have that aspect to look forward to, and then when you actually do find something, who's to say that it won't get suppressed like all the rest? So
yeah, exactly.
It's so I'm looking forward to it. But I'm pretty confident that we're onto something. Some giants in the tombs that high in the mountains that we might be able to pull out and see if it's actually real, legit or not.
Yeah. So
I wonder if they're not like pre-Younger Dryas, like something before the great cataclysm or whatever the fucked us up, like
after the Ice Age, whatever
13,000 years ago, whatever happened there. Before that there was some giants flying shit around or whatever.
And then maybe there was some leftovers, and that's how they were able to get killed, because there wasn't a lot left over.
So they started eating the fucking people.
Well, it would be good to find some, free flood giants. That would be awesome. They would be bigger. I would assume you'll find more after the flood giants, because you got to remember, when, and this is what's interesting about the Native American myths. We have in the Bible, it pretty much says the giants were the results of the Watchers or whoever, this alien sort of race that was genetic engineering, right? And they created this race of giants.
The Nephilim.
Nephilim, right? So so you have Nephilim causing destruction and being wicked and doing whatever, and the gods, quote unquote, were basically we're like, oh, we got to get rid of these assholes, so they destroyed them with the flood, but not all of them were destroyed, of course, because half the Bible is about killing giants. So there were some of them. I don't think they probably were as tall, of course. So we have, some of them remained, and how many so remained, we don't know. I'm sure they spread north and probably dwindled and dwindled and dwindled. But the interesting thing is that we know tall people survived after the flood, because in the myths of the Native Americans, there is a lot of myths talking about a red-headed cannibalistic race of giants that were causing destruction, eating children, and they were destroyed by the Great Spirit for being wicked. And this is pretty much the same thing that we find in the biblical narratives and other ancient cultures. The flood that destroyed these giants. So it's very interesting. We have this.
So this is
the world away.
Yeah, I was just going to say. So I was going to ask you: is it global? Then you figure it goes past the Middle East as well. Is there like an Asian part of it as well?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's the Asian giants. You have, basically Asian mythology.
You would be an Asian giant.
The Asian mythology is pretty much the dragon coming down with the golden egg and everything. Kind of the same things, you have, and I think they even found some that's another book, of course. But I think there was, because you have the pyramids in China, which are pretty much kept secret, but there's also an area where they have pipes and plumbing, ancient pipes, and it's really crazy. You can't figure this out, but in that area they found red-headed giants, really tall, totally nothing to do with Chinese. So, and same with Egypt. I mean, ancient Egypt has fascinating history of giants and mythology of giants. And you can see a lot of their hieroglyphics on. Basically, the pharaohs always depicted as giants, but much more so than just like, oh, it's because their ego or whatever. Like they're literally trying to depict them as giants. And you have I don't know if you're familiar with the mummified Egyptian finger that was found. It was in the 80s. A nightclub owner, Giorgio Spori, he was down there and he met some Bedouins who took him, out to show him this ancient mummified giant finger that was about, I guess, 13 inches long. So they estimated the guy, whoever it belonged to, had to have been at least 12 feet. And he took pictures of it and everything, and it's documented, and you can see it. It's on the internet. It's really incredible. But he wasn't able to get any more information or find the Bedouins again to let them know where the rest of the body was. And you got to remember, like almost 90 to 80% of Egypt's still underneath the sand. So who knows what's really down there?
Yeah, exactly. And then there's a lot of good cases in the States, right, with these mounds.
Oh yeah, when they westward expansion, they're coming, to the Ohio mounds.
Yeah,
and they basically, some of the earliest Smithsonian books and Smithsonian excavations were opening mounds and finding giant skeletons. They also found copper armor, large copper armor, huge swords and copper axes. And crazy things have been discovered in these mounds. But again, a lot of times, you'll read a report and it'll be, 10-foot skeleton, giant skull, and this and that. And Smithsonian came to check it out, or they sent it off to be studied or whatever, and that's it. You never hear from these things again. So I think a lot of stuff ended up in private collections as well, and a lot of stuff is just kept away, hidden away. Back, they might have they might do the TV show where the guy with the beard and he's like, oh, trust me because I'm a PhD and I run the basement at the Smithsonian, and if there was giant skulls, we would know it. So yeah, like it's kind of, and to be fair, you can't really say for sure that everyone knows as well. I mean, there's probably a lot of dudes who aren't informed anyways.
Yeah, it's probably
right?
Departmentalized. I mean,
it's probably like everything else.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So it is hard to ignore all those. Like it's just like a lot of these other mysteries. Like there's so much of this evidence pointing towards the Smithsonian. It's hard to ignore all these different cases. If it was just one isolated incident, then whatever. But
yeah, there's tons of them. My personal favorite is the legend of Paxton Haze. And Paxton Haze was like a herbologist who studied snakes. He was in Sonora, right, kind of where I am, near a little south of Phoenix. I guess in the Yuma area. So he was looking for rare snakes, and he met the Indian guides, and they told him about a lost city of white giants. And he's like, "Cool, go check it out." And he went up there, and you can see these ancient cliff type dwellings, and found a bunch of mummified giants, blonde-headed giants, and they're about, I guess, 9 to 10 feet. And the particular thing was they had one of them had a robe. The robe was decorated with, ornate designs and everything, and very strange, that would survive. So you have giants, and I guess they're about that spa life, the robes and everything. So he amazing discovery. It was, it was like in the 40s. It was in the paper. He took the robe and he did the tour with it. And he on his way to the Smithsonian. He goes to Smithsonian and he's all excited. He shows him the robe. There's pictures of it, and a big press conference or whatever. And they were basically like, okay, we're gonna, because he said there's some more other places he needed to investigate as well. So they were all excited and they were gonna work together and this and that. And he left Smithsonian, but he left the robe with them because they're gonna do some tests on it. And what happened next? He never saw that robe again. He was never able to do any other sort of excavations or fundings or anything else. And they basically cut him off and called him crazy. And never really heard from him again. And we're trying to figure out what happened to, where exactly was this, were these ruins located that he found these giants and what kind of happened to them. So, but that's an incredible story that has been lost to history.
Yeah, and it really wasn't that long ago. I mean, only in the 40s.
40s, exactly. Yeah. It's nothing.
Now, is there also these double rows of teeth that they're apparently finding in there?
Well, that's a tricky one because there just isn't enough physical evidence, for them to say that it's not some sort of dentist. I guess there's this guy, Andy White, who's like some paleontologist or whatever. He tries to debunk all this, this giant stuff. But his musings on this sort of double rows of teeth is kind of interesting. It's possible that there might be something to it, but we don't know enough about it, and there's not enough real cases for us to really kind of take it serious. I would honestly, so to speak. But what we do have is the 6-fingered, 6-toe giant, which is far more interesting. Unfortunately, we don't really have any physical skeletons of this, but the fact that this is, again, David and Goliath. Goliath had 6 fingers and 6 toes. All over in the Bible, they talk about the 6-finger, 6-toe giants. It's like a sort of separate little species of giants. So we never hear about the double row teeth giants, but we do in history come across the 6-finger, 6-toe giants. And there's actually petroglyph images all the way from, I think, here in Arizona to Brazil with 6-finger, 6-hand imprints. So, and we do have, the crazy thing is too, we also have some footprints, like some kind of, maybe some people don't believe it, but there are instances where that footprint in South Africa on the side of the cliff is pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. There's footprints in Brazil. There's footprints in Andara Temple in Syria, giant temple which is Aleppo basically. So who knows if it's been destroyed or not. You find a lot of times, giants or ancient aliens, happen to be in this part of the world where there's wars and all this stupid. So we can't really investigate. I think it's kind of done on purpose as well, to keep you away from there and as an excuse to destroy history. And when we look at, okay, here's an interesting one, the Epic of Gilgamesh, most ancient poem, one of the oldest poems in the world, basically. And Gilgamesh was a giant, and this is Sumerian. This is Iraq, right? So this epic tale of, him and his adventures, right? And before the Iraqi invasion, German archaeologists announced he had discovered the tomb of Gilgamesh. So guess what happened next?
You got shot.
Yeah, the military came in and the invasion, and he hasn't been allowed to return. He had no idea what happened. And
Gilgamesh is the one he's the one who wrote a lot of that. Is he the one who wrote the Enoch books? No, he was before.
No, well, I mean, Gilgamesh basically, I don't think if he wrote it.
No, that's the original flood myth, is that?
Exactly. The Epic of Gilgamesh, that's the clay tablets that has the Afanishnu, I think it was the like the Iraqi Noah, the Sumerian Noah. Yeah. So the original flood myths, all of that is in there, and Gilgamesh is a huge part of that story, that tale. So to have his tomb, I think it's a pretty big deal, Didn't
they trash that museum too when they went in there, or not trash it, but confiscated? I mean, didn't they go right there?
First place they went. Boom.
Like, see, isn't that weird? Like, oh.
Yeah, because you have
Same with
What's his
something else, too. Didn't some other shit when we
Saddam.
first went into Iraq?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, the museum in Iraq.
Take another bong hit, man.
Both times, though, right?
Both times.
Originally.
Oh, you're talking about like Desert Storm
90s.
or something like that?
Yeah. Didn't they fucking go
Desert
after
Storm
some
was
museums
gold.
then, too?
It was
And
all
now
gold.
isn't ISIS going after more museums?
They're basically destroying everything.
And they're CIA, probably.
Oh yeah, they're definitely Mossad, CIA. I mean, there was no such thing as like radical Islam before, basically even before like 10, 15 years ago. I mean, it's literally all CIA Mossad nonsense.
It makes you wonder if that slowly they just crept that this to America, they just slowly crept that into your subconscious so that they could fucking hammer you with it in the year 2000.
2001.
Sure.
Well, I mean, dude, the whole thing with the project of a new American century and announcing. You can read the reports. I mean, it's literally, how funny is it that the 7 countries, with the Trump ban, which is really the Obama ban, but I mean, those were the same countries that General Wesley Clark is talking about. We need to,
Exactly.
we get it cracking over here. So the whole thing is a fraud. I mean, I've been watching a lot of Ron Wyatt, archaeological, like biblical videos. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
No, I don't think so.
Oh man, Ron Wyatt is a very interesting fellow. He claims to have discovered like the Ark of Covenant, and Sodom and Gomorrah and a bunch of these biblical things. And it's very interesting.
Is it in Ethiopia?
Well, no, he claims, that one, there's that one, which is in Ethiopia, which is like, if that's true, why would you send a commando unit in there? And just, like, why haven't they done that? What were those skinny little, like, Rastafarian, like, monks going to do, Like, so that story is interesting, but there's people think it's in Oak Island or whatever. Like, some people still think it's in Israel. According to Ron Wyatt, he found it in one of the caves in Israel, where supposedly also it was where the crucifixion site was as well. And and they have the Red Sea, where you kind of like the Exodus, where they trace it, and they went diving, and you could. Looks like they found like chariot wheels and stuff. It's all very interesting stuff, but it's so Christian, you got to kind of, got to take it with a grain of salt, I guess.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, you're watching these videos from the 70s, and he did this in the maybe late 70s, early 80s, and you're seeing real cool footage, early footage of Israel, Palestine, all that whole area, and it looked relatively like normal and safe, compared to how I would feel or how you would feel to go there now.
Yeah, man. I was in Israel for a couple months in 1990 and traveled around Egypt for a month as well. And I mean, it was still, kind of a military, like Israel was, you weren't really supposed to hitchhike, and we did anyways. And there was people, there was military people all over the place, like Israelis. I'm not talking about Americans. But it was so safe then, and we thought it was going to be safer and safer and safer as time goes on, and that we were at the sort of the bad part at the time. Now when I look back, you're
safer back then.
Yeah, 26 years later, it's ridiculous.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, it's disappointing. We should be going the other way.
Exactly. And I want to go check all those areas and stuff, and it's like, man, we can't do anything. I mean, who would have thought the Bronx would be safer than, half the world right now?
Yeah, no kidding.
So putting all this like religious stuff aside, like what are some of the theories about what the giants are, or who they are, or are they just, is there a whole bunch of different races of giants, do you think, if we were to totally speculate? Like, does Sasquatch have anything to do with it? Are those the ones that were left over that were like basically the sole survivors that had to scoot to the woods to stay alive? Stuff like that. Like, it just fascinates me. Is it something to do with, like, do we have some blood, like denosovian or something that's partly used to be giant,
Yep, that's you're hitting on it, my man. There's more than one giant species. There's a few of them, and the book I talk about, I kind of opened the book with that in general, like talking about what we're discovering now. I mean, the Denosovians and the Neanderthals had a mystery partner, you know. So there's they want to admit it, but they can't. So they kind of play around with words and make it slip and slide around. But yeah, I mean, so are they leaving the giants out of the equation? You know, so we have. We're finding bones that are older and older and older. I mean, they're finding stuff in Ethiopia, 2 million, 3 million. They're finding like you talk about the hobbits. So we have Tolkien, who basically was the head librarian of Oxford, got to read all of the ancient manuscripts. Yeah, he was the man. That's
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where he came up with all this. You know, he was reading the ancient histories, which is the true history, by the way. So all that kind of fused into his creation of this Lord of the Rings, which is a lot of truth in it.
And the other thing is, so much was built on that. Like he pretty much created that whole fantasy world that all the other fantasies are built on. Like just the dwarves, the elves, and the hobbits, and the giants, and all that. I mean, it's pretty much how it's been ever since. Man. Yeah, since he did that.
It's him, and he basically, a lot of that was written and therapeutically because dealing with the war, and I think his son died in the First World War or something. So
I think he was in the First World War.
Yeah, he was in there. It's right. So there's a lot of heavy duty stuff going on, in Lord of the Rings. And then, to me, you got Lord of the Rings, then you got Dune. So you have mind blowing Dune, which is like right now it's incredible. Like you read Starship Troopers, you're like, wow, okay. Like all these sci-fi dudes, like they really were. They were in tune, man, and now it's beyond 1984. Unfortunately, now it's scary. Orwell's rolling in his grave.
Yeah, it really does feel like it's getting dystopian. It should be going the other way around.
Yeah, it's we knew the game plan and we know what they're steering us towards. They weren't expecting on the Awakening. I think the Awakening happened faster, and they weren't expecting that. So I believe we have, we got a chance with Trump in there. I mean, there's things going on that's definitely put monkey wrenches and put, halted a lot of things. I think. I mean, the internet in general is
part of that.
We're pretty. Yeah, I mean, we could all thank our lucky stars that the internet exists because it would be totally different without that. So
yeah, that's a good point. Actually, there is more hope than not. I mean, I do say that as this, it should be going the other way, but there is you can look at it the other way as well. That really there is an awakening, and there is a chance that we will go that way, more of a peaceful way. I feel like over the last couple of years, things are just breaking wide open. Like I'm seeing people switch that used to be like skeptical of all this stuff, or now they're like, you can't believe anything you hear. Everything, that we've been told is a lie. Like more and more people are reaching that conclusion that, the mainstream media is just a complete joke. It's
fraud.
Yeah.
Exactly. And thank Trump for helping to expose that, I love how he elevated CNN to fake news to very fake news. That was pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, and they still don't get it. They're all upset, and they don't even understand. Like, why don't you stop lying and exaggerating? It's just,
exactly. Have some real news, man. Some real journalism. Like,
you see how popular honest conversations are. Like, let's say Rogan and Alex Jones. I mean, that's fabulous. That's reaching way more people than the mainstream now, and it's they're for the most part they're honest conversations.
Mark Dice is, he has some good stuff. So there's a lot of, we're fortunate to have a lot of information and access to information and alternative voices and alternative information, independent media like your show. We're very lucky and very fortunate. They're trying to take this all away. No doubt if everybody got in, we'd be all screwed. So, it's...
Yeah,
I think right now
they were shutting that down.
we just got to ride. Yeah, they're gonna try, but they won't be successful. But we have to ride the wave, man. I think right now we're in such change. The world is going through such change, such uncertainty, and such. Look what's going on in Europe. You know, I've been to Italy. I was in Italy before when it was the lira. Living was good, man. You know, the shopping was good. You know, I've been. So, you know, and now you got the euro and everything else, and you know, unless you want to live good, you gotta go to Mexico. So, you know, people are sick of these unelected bureaucrats and these bankers who basically controlled them and destroyed their lives and destroyed everything in their market and their economies. And you know, they're all rejecting it. You know, Brexit, Italy's next, Germany. They're all sick of it. I've been in Germany. I was there. Man, again, I was there when there was the Deutschmark, and I remember when they implemented the euro. And Germany was great. There was always a huge Turkish population, and I was always trying to figure out how I could give me a Turkish girlfriend. You know, it was impossible, very difficult, but, you know, and you go to the Mannheim little Turkish ghetto and get some hash or whatever. I mean, it was cool. There was no problem. You didn't have to worry about getting bombed or whatever. It was fine. Now you have this land invasion and multiculturalism, right? And this sort of refugee toward of it's new world order tactics, you know. Open the wall, the boundaries, and no borders, and now after they put it in there, rammed it in there, and everyone's sick of it, and it basically destroyed Europe. So they're rejecting it in record numbers, and it's hilarious how Trump's mentioned something that didn't even really happen yet, and they go batshit crazy, and now it's happening. So but it's already been happening. He's just kind of exposing it.
Yeah.
And he's trolling. He's a master troll, bro. He's gonna say something. Everyone's gonna go like, eh, and then they're gonna be forced to have to admit it. It's freaking amazing. It's just incredible.
Next level trolling.
Next level. Oh yeah, like you watch South Park. I mean, it was hilarious. Like they have, you know, he was in what was it, Denmark, or wherever he went to. You guys watch South Park?
No, I don't really. No, Darren, do you? I mean, I
don't have cable.
No, yeah. So how about?
I used to watch that shit back in the day.
It's brilliant, man. It never lost its edge. You know, if you download it, get on the BitTorrent or whatever, like, it's definitely worth watching. It's one of the only shows worth watching. I mean, there's very few things left, to watch. Yeah, exactly. It's mostly garbage. So half it's propaganda, of course, written by the CIA. You know, so.
Yeah, I think Trey Parker and Matt Stone always seemed kind of uncompromisable. You know what I mean?
I thought I heard something recently about one of their shows being compromised. They went too far with something political lately. Did you hear anything about that?
Nah, I mean they've not really. I mean they're basically on the edge with everything. I think they had to change some things when Trump won. Of course, they weren't expecting that, but. Nah, they're kind of been always the same. I mean, they're the ones who are trying to draw Muhammad, remember?
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, they don't give a shit. So
yeah, but I mean, apparently that couldn't air or something, or somebody took it down, or I don't know.
They couldn't air it. They had to blur it out or whatever they did.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy, right? It's crazy when you can't even get away with that.
Yeah,
in America.
Yeah, man. Oof. How much of this is banking? Like, how much of this is, because I always used to, for the last few years, I keep coming back to the common denominator, and the sort of the highest level of this to me seems like it's the central banks controlling the nations and the debt-based economy and all that stuff. I mean, how much of that is driven by that, especially with all your research into suppressed history of banking?
That is it. That's the root. It's the Rothschild conspiracy, whatever, call it what you want, but that's the absolute truth. The central banking system, it's not federal, of course. It's basically European, private.
Yeah.
Child English, So it's the problem with globalization, the problem with the New World Order, the problem with the Illuminati, the problem with, secret meetings controlling your life, and assholes you never met gathering to who knows what they're actually doing at those parties, but gathering to dictate how they're gonna control us.
Yeah.
So it's totally disgusting, man. And I didn't vote for that.
No,
Well, I think, no, I want to stay away from the politics, but it
Yeah.
seems like that's,
well, this is banking.
yeah,
so-
that seems to be what you almost see the battle of right now is that banking pushback against things like the Brexit. Because I don't know, man, I'm half convinced the Brexit ain't happening.
They're trying to stall it, but hopefully it will. I mean, they'll figure out how to, stretch it and delay it as long as they can, of course. Here's the deal. Like in 1913.
Oh, I was just going to ask you this question, so you're probably going to answer it.
Yeah, I think so. In 1913, you had the secret meetings at Jekyll Island.
Yeah.
Serve. Here's the real thing, and some people don't even know this is all of the bankers, the good bankers, the ones who were opposed to this, this sort of strategy, because it goes back to the foundation of our country, not having central banking.
Yeah.
So all the bankers who were opposed to this, they all got a first class ticket on the Titanic.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Oh man, it's heavy.
I heard something about it, but I didn't realize it was directly related to the Jekyll Island.
Yeah, so all those dudes, same year, man. All those dudes who weren't going to sign it.
Wow, that's crazy, eh, Darren?
It's crazy,
The
very crazy.
Titanic hit an iceberg on purpose.
Well, it just happened to be all these bankers that weren't part of that.
No, I've heard a couple different takes on the Titanic being
I don't know how they did it, but I mean, there definitely had to have, whether it was a missile or probably didn't have missiles back then, or however they were doing it, iceberg steering it. I mean, who knows? I don't know.
Sabotage or something. Who knows? Yeah,
exactly. Who knows? Like fire bombs, dynamite. I don't know. Like it's just too. I don't really believe in coincidences. So and then you have the whole there's so many scams with the Titanic. I mean, I think the White Star liner anyway. It's like they switched it in an insurance scam in the first place. So that whole thing is
well, the thing. Like we were kind of talking about before, or I can't remember if it was before we came on air or not, but about how the uprising of alternative media like this, and guys like Rogan and No Agenda and Alex Jones were doing, unbelievable numbers. I mean, more people listen to Alex Jones and live in fucking Canada. Period.
Yeah. So what's your point about that?
Well, just think in 1912 how easy it is to fucking scam you.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like the 70s seems to be that line where you can start catching people on their shit. That's when you kind of started to catch the Iran-Contras. Was that 70s? 70s, 80s?
Well, that's when you have the, I think the 70s when, it was, they started exposing Project Mockingbird.
Yeah.
But I mean, even you go back to World War II, man, it's whatever the fuck they want to tell you, straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite like that anymore. There's a little bit easier to follow up and
it seems like it.
Fact check and
well,
there
is supposed to be a new website, Snopes for Snow.
Yeah.
The scary thing is they've had this control for so long of the narrative on the mainstream media because it's all been controlled anyway since the beginning, always. And so to see them freak out, when they got their card pulled, to say oh, it's un-American, they're all so butthurt that that they're getting exposed for being complete frauds. Like, why is Brian Williams talking about fake news when you're literally been fired for fake news? So,
it's crazy.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy, and let's be real with it. A talking head, or a journalist. What's really going on.
Yeah. So is it true that you guys weren't paying income tax back then in the early 1900s?
Oh, I was about to mention that there was no such thing as any of that, and basically up until the 50s, I guess, or 40. I mean, there was no taxes for anything. Literally, it was. I mean, that's all relatively new scams. And now there's a fucking tax and fee for everything. Excuse my language, but it's unbelievable. You got to have a permit for this, permit for that. You got to want to add a bathroom or whatever to your house. You literally have to report everything now.
Well, we just got hit with the carbon tax up here in Canada. So,
What?
You can't breathe without paying tax.
Yeah. And, that'll be proven to be a big lie as well. Like, give it 5-10 years and that carbon tax better go away, because it'll be like, we're actually going into a fucking deep freeze instead of global warming or whatever the case is. It's just not
carbon credits.
Yeah, I mean, we can get carbon credits. That's what the true meaning of carbon credits will be. Give me all my taxes back.
This is already proven it's a big fraud. That's literally using to tax you, and I didn't even know they're getting away with it in Canada. We know they had Obama was getting away with mandatory health care, right? Everyone thought it was free, but it's not. And then they put a tax. They put a tax on it where you got to pay like $2,500 if you don't have insurance. You have to have insurance. If you don't, they're going to fine you $2,500. Like what? But thankfully, Trump, he said no, done with that. So, but yeah, man, they're sneaky. It's all about money. All about money, man. Everything is about money. Get in your car. You have to have your driver's license. You got to have your insurance. The cop pulls you over. He's all about money because his whole job is to get money. I mean, literally, you don't solve crime. He doesn't do anything. He's just collecting money. You got some weed on you. Oh,
my money.
That's money.
Yeah.
It's all about. It's pretty disgusting.
Yeah. Huh. So what are you working on next besides the other giant books and all, especially with this sort of current event paradigm and the political stuff? Are you working on any deeper stuff with that?
Well, I had another Giants book coming out that I have waiting to hear back from one of the publishers about. I have some more ancient alien things, but I don't know if it's already been played out. And I don't know what, if there's anything new, a couple new things I want to go into. There might be, but, to get a whole other book out of it, we'll see what happens with that. But honestly, I'm kind of in where I'm at right now. I mean, I want to finish some novels, man. I really want to get into some novel writing, get some of that done. I got about 12 nonfiction works done, so it's time to hit the novel writing. And then I have some other projects, film projects and stuff like that, getting into as well. So what going to be busy.
What kind of ancient alien type? What kind of bent on that? Something new? Can you give us a little sneak peek?
Well, I can, but there's nothing. I mean, I wrote about aliens in ancient Egypt already.
Yeah,
and so I did that, and I kind of wanted to compile some of the biblical stuff, some of the ancient aliens in the Bible stuff, maybe some of the Quran things. Kind of put that together, and then maybe go into some of the WikiLeaks things, and take a look at maybe some other sort of secret space program stuff.
Yeah.
Some of Europa. So I think there is an area. I think I can get enough. But
to tie all that together, yeah.
Yeah, it's tied together. But the thing is, like, you have, all the time the space feed getting cut off, in the space stations. You'll see a couple UFOs skirt by and then they cut it off. And this is happening pretty much a couple times a month now, from the ESA, from NASA. So it's happening. So maybe it might be kind of interesting to look at, what China's doing with India. They're all trying to get up to the moon, and what's on the moon, and will they be able to reveal anything, or will they be trapped? Will they be shut out too?
Yeah.
There's interesting things going on, space and mining, mining the moon and mining space and getting to Mars, and I'm waiting for the fake Mars landing. That's going to be the next big Spielberg directed psyop. Going to Mars. It's complete. Filmed in Culver City for sure.
Yeah, man, there's the question if somebody's already been there. I mean, there's somebody flying around in these fucking high-tech UFOs for decades now. And it's not just all ETs. I think that there's the secret space program is alive and well, and somebody's flying around.
Of course. I think 70% is actual us, secret technology, secret space program, the TR-83 with the black triangles. You have dude, if you put on the night vision goggles and come out here and hang out with me up in the mountains, you could you'll see them flying around all the time. I did a post about Superstition Mountains, and even the FOAI released a document talking about there was supposedly some underground bases around here manning the aliens and all kinds of weird stuff that's been revealed with the Tonto Park system. So you have a lot of secret technology, secret space programs. What's going on Mars? Like, do they actually have the ability to wormhole travel? Are they going there now? Have they been going there since the 80s? Like Project Pegasus and things like this, and what's the truth? I mean, I know, like, on the surface and what has been revealed to us, I don't think we're getting there with rockets.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, the problem is so much secrecy, so much DARPA. DARPA is the real government. DARPA runs it. So, what do they actually know? We got our cool iPhones, but what do they got?
Yeah. So what about your projects in film? What are those going to be about?
Oh man, well, I'm not sure if I could speak about some of them, but I would love to do. I want to do like feature films and stuff. I don't know if you know who Errol Flynn is. He was an actor in the golden age of Hollywood. I've been developing a biography on him for a minute now. We're trying to get Orlando Bloom to play him. But when you do with Hollywood, it's not about obviously you have to write something good, but it's all about raising money. You could get any movie made, you can get any actor you want, but you got to have the money, and raising the money is the hard part. But there's some other projects we're involved in that might bring some more money to the table. But we're doing some documentaries. We're shooting some stuff for a history channel, like some treasure hunting stuff. Can't really get into it too much, but fun stuff, nice. History stuff, giant stuff.
I was just going to ask you, do you think there's any mounds out there that haven't been fully dug up and explored? Like, is there a chance that people are going to actually find something and be able to televise it or
There's no mound. There's no mounds, but I could give you a little bit, give you a little story here without revealing too much without getting in trouble. Okay, so there was a Jesuit priest by the name of Bernardo Mittendorf, and it's in the 1700s. And basically, he was in this, in the Arizona, Mexico area, and he befriended some Apaches who he Christianized them, and they led them to an ancient gold mine. They allowed him to mine this gold mine, as Jesuits, for a period of years. Now, they also showed him one of their holy sites, a sacred, ancient secret holy site that not too many people got to visit. And it was high in the caves, and supposedly might have been one of the entrances to El Dorado or one of these type of things. Mm-hmm. But when he got in the cave, the entrance to this cave system, he was shown two giant mummified tombs, like two giants that were mummified in these massive tombs. And they had these huge swords, like huge like equipment, like armor and stuff, and all kinds of ancient statues. Basically, lost world type of things. And Mittendorf, being the Christian that he was, thought it was works of the devil. So he destroyed things. He was like freaking out. He couldn't believe it, and so they ran him out of there. Basically, he wasn't allowed to return. And basically he wasn't able to return, and some other stuff happened I can't talk about. But about 17. Mittendorf saw this in about the 1750s. So I would assume, I think it's about 1850s, about 100 years later, there was a journalist named Andrew Pauly, and he was investigating, came down to this area, this Arizona, New Mexico area, investigating some of the lost legend of lost treasure. And he went into the mountains looking for this, just kind of by himself with his horse, and while finding a spring for his horse to get some water, he noticed cave system, ancient cave, and he went up in there and he went into this ancient cave system, and he described the same thing that Mittendorf had described 100 years earlier. Exact same thing. And he wrote about it and described it, and he was very excited, and he was like, I'm going back, and we're going to check it out, because he even described more. He actually talked about how he went more into the cave and was able to peer into what it looked like, walls of gold, like a golden hallway. So he was thinking, he had found like the 7 cities of gold or whatever, Cibola. So he was excited. He wrote this, and he was like, I'm going back. And, that was the last we ever heard from him. So we don't know what happened to him, if he died on his way there, if he died inside the cave or whatever. But, 2 very interesting stories that back each other up.
Is that his story Von Daniken stole, maybe? Didn't Von Daniken have a story in one of his books about roaming around some caves, too?
Nah, not that one. He had a story. His cave was in
the Grand Canyon.
No, that's a different one. I'll tell you that one. There's Von Daniken was the Gold of the Gods, about Father Crespi's supposedly the cave in Ecuador where they had found
that's right.
some
that's
ancient
right.
metallic books and all that. It's total fraud, complete hoax. Father Crespi, same thing. It's complete. With the dinosaurs and the stones and all this, it's complete nonsense, completely fake. So yeah, and Von Daniken was outed. He's been outed in a few things, but he's also pointing out a lot of things as well. And a lot of it is, on this. You're writing, you're there, you're investigating, you're writing books. It's no big deal, man. It's just how it is. At least it comes clean. Clean with it. But the other amazing, tale is the Grand Canyon. Smithsonian supposedly sent to investigate the discovery of a lost city in the Grand Canyon that had Egyptian artifacts and all this. And supposedly, they wrote about it. There was an article talking about the Smithsonian was going to check out this, this lost city, but there was only one article and there was no follow-ups. We don't know anything else about it. It's interesting that there are Egyptian names, within some areas of the Grand Canyons, right? And according to Jay Widener, he told me that he went down there looking for it, and he actually entered the cave, but he got hit with some sort of, headache machine or something. He got really sick, and they had to leave. So that was his experience. So who knows? Maybe if there is, maybe there's.
Go back there with a helmet on.
Maybe
so
gas.
Something. I want to go. Maybe I won't get sick.
You got to watch even in those caves for gas and shit, right?
From the inner earth,
No, if you walk up, when I worked underground, you go up the wrong ladder. If there's no ventilation ain't proper,
you pass out before you even know
there's not supposed to be oxygen and shit down there, right? So you got to watch certain heavier gases might be in different areas or whatever.
So how does the all this copper mining that they found? I remember hearing stories about the sheer amount of copper mines, and does that tie into the giants at all?
Yeah, I have a chapter about that. That's up in the Michigan area, Illinois. The copper mining giants. Yeah, they don't. They're trying to figure out where all the copper came from in the Copper Age, when the mines in Europe could not have produced all of that copper.
Oh, that's what it's tied to. Yeah.
Yeah. So so you have
stealing our shit again.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so that's what they're saying, is that there was all these mines in America, and that's how. So the mainstream.
They don't want to say that.
Right.
Mainstream won't say that.
No, but
they'll say we don't know where where the other copper could have came from. Of course, on a boat, across the water, maybe Atlantic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have, because that's the whole other mystery is all the copper that they removed from these mines. Where did that go? Right.
Right. Yeah. Because there's not a lot of evidence for that after it was mined around here. Yeah.
There's no Copper Age in America, so where'd it go?
Yeah, it's just not addressed. It's just just pushed aside. Just push it aside in that bucket with everything else we don't want to explain.
Right, and then you have like because I'm sure they went down further because you have plants that are only found in like are native to like Colorado or whatever east of the Rockies that are found other places that they're trying to figure out who are the ones that kind of uprooted them and took them back to Michigan, right? So you have weird things like that. Then you have the Lovelock cave giants. These red-headed, cannibalistic giants. Causing trouble, and they were found in Nevada. And according to the Paiute Indians, there's a legend that they trapped them and smoked them out, kept them in there. And it's interesting that the oldest duck decoy was found in Lovelock Cave, and they're saying that the last time Lovelock area had water or lakes was anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 years ago.
Oh wow! What was that? A duck decoy?
Duck decoy, yeah.
Huh. That's crazy.
It's very crazy.
Now there's a new plant native to Colorado.
Yeah, exactly. I remember we did an episode way back, a couple of years back, Darren. Do you remember this one about the red ochre and how that was sort of another level of evidence that there's these megalithic civilizations traveling the globe like way longer than we thought?
Yeah, I think that's a given.
Yeah.
Yeah, the megalithic stuff is look, it's so easy to basically pretty much tell them they're all full of shit. I mean, you have the metal T-clamp mystery, right? You can find the ancient megalithic sites that have the portions of the stone that clearly had metal clamps that connected them together.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah.
You find this in Peru and Bolivia and ancient Egypt and Abydos. And I have the sketchbooks from Chapez, who was an ancient writer and ancient sketch artist who traveled all these ancient sites and wrote about this, drew some of the earliest, the works of these old places. I mean, these are probably from the 1700s, early 1800s. And I could go through these books and find stuff from Crete, from Iran and Persepolis, showing these T-clamp markings, right? So explain how you have these all over the world, and who built them and why and how, and like it's actually absolutely mind blowing.
And how long ago too? Yeah.
How long ago? Yeah. Why is it? And all of them are in the ancient megalithic sites. They have these T-clamps, and why would there? How? Look, okay, dude, we're in Iran and Persepolis, right in the middle of freaking nowhere. Here are these metal T-clamp structures. Then you could go all the way across the world into Peru and the Andes. Boom, same exact thing. Man, come on,
Wish we could blow all that
fucking
sand out of Egypt.
Yes, exactly. Well, blow that away. What are we gonna find? Abydos really has amazing megalithic stuff.
The old Egyptian fucking spaceport.
Well, here the thing is like we know that most metals and everything, disintegrates. So the odds of finding some ancient spaceships or whatever very rare. Just based on that, it would probably disintegrate. It probably over a period of time it just gets eaten away. So you got to be lucky enough to find something preserved in ice or preserved where it could have, maybe at the bottom of the sea or somewhere that is able to kind of to keep it going. And that's a whole other question: what's actually in the bottom of the sea, and what's up with USOs and underwater alien bases? And, is that the vast majority of where all these things are coming from and going to?
Yeah, it's a total underrated part of ufology is the USOs.
Yeah, it's probably the most interesting and overlooked part of it, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Well, big thanks for coming on the show. It'd be nice to go a little deeper. We know you got a poker tournament to get to. We do wish you luck. And now, are you playing Hold'em?
Thank you. Yes, Texas Hold'em.
Nice.
I love poker, man.
I've been known to play a little Hold'em myself.
That's how the name of the show came about. Darren signed his name on the what was
poker
that?
table.
Grimerica.
Grimerica, yeah.
Nice.
Here we are now.
Yeah.
Taking over the world, one episode at a time. Wish you luck for that. Big thanks for coming on the show. And is there any place our listeners can track you down? If you're on the Twitter or the Facebook or anything like that?
Yeah, and your site, Xaviant Vision. I meant to mention that as well. Is that something that you want to talk about?
Yeah, that's my archive. That's basically a free online metaphysical library. You can get free books, free lectures, free audio, all kinds of cool stuff there for free. You could check out ancient manuscripts, a bunch of stuff there. I have a blog, XaviantHazeBlogspot.com. All kinds of original stuff there. And I'm on Facebook, so I don't do Twitter. I don't do any other stuff. I think Facebook's enough. So if you want to add me or write me, I try to answer all my messages. If you have any questions, you can holler at me anytime.
Awesome. Well, big thanks, Xaviant. And I'll shoot you an email here in the next few days with some links to that stuff we were talking about before the show.
Yes, please do. I'm very interested in learning more about that.
Yeah, and we'll have you back on the show here when you have a couple more books out.
Yeah, send us a note when that new giant book comes out.
I will, and I'd love to talk to you guys more and anytime about any subjects.
Right on,
you guys
buddy.
have a good night.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
There it is. Better late than never. Big thanks to Xaviant for coming on the show. And we kind of switched gears there at the last minute. Got into some politics, which we apologize for, but he did just finish writing a book on that as well. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was great. It was nice to get into the Smithsonian stuff a little bit because I've heard you bring it up a couple times. And,
I think we were due.
Yeah.
I was happy to switch gears from that to that. We got into the banking a bit anyway.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah.
Sometimes the banking's a bit overdone,
Yeah, I'm kind of glad we didn't go too deep into the suppressed history of American banking because it gets into like all the War of 1812 and all. And for some reason, I don't know that part of history just doesn't
do it for you.
No, it doesn't do it for me.
Doesn't tickle your fancy.
No, I'd rather go back to medieval times or into the future.
There you go. Just go back to medieval times. You fit in better there.
I think I was a jester in a past life.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think you're a jester in a current life. Some might say.
But no, that was a good episode. That was fun. Yeah, we could get into all kinds of stuff with him.
Yeah, he was great. So big thanks to Xaviant for coming on the show. Big thanks to you guys for helping us make these shows possible, talking about these subjects and doing it all for free, commercial free, ad free, sponsor free, affiliate free. No sponsored content. We're the product, not you. So check out grimerica.ca/support, guys, for all the different ways you can help support the show. You can sign up for a monthly, and if you can afford to do so, please do. There's options there, and everywhere from $1 a month all the way up to $30 a month or so. You can do a one-time donation there as well. You can check out grimerica.ca/swag to buy Grimerica gear, review the show.
We do get listeners involved, so you can send emails to spamgram, GRAHAM at Grimerica.com. And Darren's on Twitter, and I'm on Instagram under Grimerica. Those will be easy to find, and all the links are in the show notes for all that stuff.
As March, didn't we do March last year? It was like tell a friend about the show month or something.
Oh, probably. A year's already gone by.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tell a friend about the show. Seriously, guys, do what you can. Share the show wherever you can. Spread the word. You're our only marketing tool. And tell a friend about this motherfucker by signing them up for the newsletter, Grimerica.ca/news. I think that's about it.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
She says, wake up, it's no use breaking. I'll keep stealing, breathing it in. Birds are leaving over autumn's ending. One of us will die inside these arms. Eyes wide open. Naked as we came, one will spread our ashes round the yard. spread out. Ashes round the yard.
If they make you laugh, if they make you cry, if they blow your mind, why not go online to Grimerica.ca/support?